Hi everybody, I'm Hector Garcia. I'm an accountant. However, I'm very excited that ChatGPT released a new model called the o3 model, which I'm testing for all multiple purposes. But apparently this new o3-mini High is really good at coding. So what I want to do is I want to take advantage and show you, I'm actually going to give you a little bit of insight into how I think about interacting with ChatGPT to build code to solve problems in other accounting software such as QuickBooks. I love QuickBooks Online, but there's so many things that are broken or quirky with it. So I take it upon myself to try to fix the QuickBooks problems in my own experience. And the way I do that is I co-founded this tool called WriteTool. I'm actually the designer, so to speak. I actually have a couple of partners that do all the coding. But every once in a while, someone will recommend or suggest something that WriteTool fixes, or I get frustrated with something, and then we add a feature to WriteTool. So when you add WriteTool, you basically enhance QuickBooks Online. So I'm just giving you an idea. If you are a WriteTool user, I'm actually going to give you a total insight in how I personally develop tools for WriteTool. If you never heard of WriteTool, just search it. I'll put a link in the description, add it to QuickBooks, and you'll see how it completely changes the QuickBooks experience. So I'm actually going to show you how we built a lot of these features. And I'm not the programmer. I have very talented people in my team that have built this, but every once in a while, I'll come up with an idea. I'll go to ChatGPT, I'll throw a bunch of stuff in it, and I'll get a functional prototype working right in front of my eyes without the need of WriteTool. And I would send that code to Mark, my partner, and then he would figure out how to tweak it and build it into WriteTool. So what I'm going to show you is I'm actually going to turn off WriteTool 100%. That way I can show you that you could do this without having to have a Chrome extension or anything like that. So we're going to refresh QuickBooks. And then I'm going to show you something in QuickBooks that's kind of frustrating, or a feature that I wish it was there. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to build it with ChatGPT. And right in front of your eyes, again, without any third-party app, we're going to use that code, run it, and you're going to see it work right in front of you. So here we go. So I'm going to go into expenses and vendors. And then let's say, for example, I want to go into one of these particular vendors. And let's say in here, there's a whole bunch of bills that I want to delete. Now, I got a bunch of open bills. Maybe they're old, maybe they shouldn't be there, maybe they're duplicates. I don't want to get into why I'm deleting. I just assume I need to get rid of them. So to delete them, I literally have to open each one, open it, and then go into more and click on delete. Okay, it's a long process. I would also have to go into, or another option is to click on this little drop-down menu and then click on delete for each one by one. Imagine you having to do that with 20, 30 bills across 20, 30 vendors. It would be nice to have a script that could do all this at the same time. Now, if I select everything here, there's an option to categorize or schedule the payments, but there's no batch deleting option. In the bill screen, same problem. If I select a bunch of bills here, there's no option to batch delete. So there's no built-in mechanism to batch delete anything. Well, actually, in most screens, there's just no built-in mechanism to delete something, and deleting something is generally pretty easy. So I'm actually going to show you. I'm going to go through ChatGPT and kind of walk you through how you could do this on your own. So I'm going to go back into ChatGPT. I do use the paid version. I paid $20 a month for ChatGPT Plus, and I got this new ChatGPT o3-mini, so we're going to use that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to set up a premise. So I am going to just describe what I'm going to do. This is called the vendor details screen. So I'm going to tell ChatGPT, hey, ChatGPT, you're going to help me write some code that we're going to run inside of the Google Chrome Inspect console that is going to delete some transactions that are checked off on this screen visually, period. Don't start writing any code yet. This is just the initial context. I am actually going to copy and paste some of the HTML code from the page itself so then you know exactly how to write the script. Okay, so we start with that. And that's just enough for it to start, quote unquote, reasoning and understanding what its job is. Okay, so you're just gonna let it do its thing. It's thinking, so to speak. It's processing. It's sort of negotiating with itself to figure out, which path it's going to go. And then once it's done doing that, then we're gonna be pasting the HTML in there. And I'm gonna show you exactly, I'm gonna walk you exactly how to do that. okay? So now it says, go ahead and paste the HTML snippet. So I'm gonna go back into QuickBooks, into my Google Chrome browser. I'm gonna right click anywhere in the white space and click on inspect. That opens the inspect the developer screen in any Google Chrome. And then we're gonna switch over to console. Now in order to make it a little bit easier, I'm gonna click on this little clear button here that just kind of clears it out. And then here, this is where I'm gonna paste the code that's gonna automatically execute in QuickBooks visually as we speak. So that's where we're gonna go. That's just adding some context. Now I'm gonna use this element selector button up here. Okay, this right here, that is what it looks like. And then I'm gonna use it to select the general box where the transactions are. But before doing that, I'm actually gonna select a couple of transactions, okay, that make it a little bit more obvious that I have a couple of transactions selected there. Again, I'll just clear this out to avoid any confusion. So I'm gonna go into element selector, and I'm gonna go back into elements up here, and then I'm gonna hover over it until I get like a box. Okay, there you go. That should be good enough. Right here, boom, boom. Okay, let me try this again. Make sure that there's a box. Okay, so then it shows you here in the code what you have to kind of copy. So I'm gonna right click here on the code, go to copy, and go to copy element. So that element here is actually the entire box that's in there. And the way you kind of know is if you actually right click and delete the element, the box should disappear. So I just clicked undo for a second. So that's how you know for sure that you're deleting the right thing. So if I delete something and where you want to manipulate disappears, essentially that's the answer. So I'm going to go in here, and then I'm going to paste the code there. Okay. And then right after I finish with the code, I am just going to come in here and say, notice two things. So one, I selected two transactions. So these are the ones that the script will target. And two, go back in here. I'll just close the console for a second. There's action button. So notice that there's a view and edit action button or a schedule payment action button. So notice under actions, there are two button types, schedule payments, and the other one is view edit. Schedule payment and view edit. Either one, when we press the caret to open a menu, has a delete button in there. Okay, and then I'm going to do one more thing. I'm actually going to go back into inspect, and I'm going to give it the code from that menu. Okay, because you have to show it what that sub menu looks like. Okay, so I'm going to open this up and then go click on the elements and then select this element here. This is that element is that whole box. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to say this is what the open menu looks like for view edit. Okay, and this next one is, this is what the menu looks like for schedule payment. And then I'm gonna copy that one, open that up, click on that elements icon, select anything in here, select the entire element, copy the element, and then paste that here. And then I'm gonna press send. So I've given it the core code. I told it, how to think about figuring out which transactions I'm gonna delete, which were the ones that were marked. So I gave it that code. And then I went in there and opened each of the fields, and I said, this is what it looks like when it's open. That way, basically what it does is it can read the HTML page, which is the code of a website, and then it can automate the actions for you sort of as a macro. and it will literally write a code that will do that. So we're just going to wait until it finishes thinking, and then we're going to copy and we're going to test that code. Perfect. Okay. So here's the code right here. And this code should work. We don't know 100% yet, but we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and copy that and then come in here in the expenses. And then I'm going to expand the code here. And I'm going to select all the transactions except for this one for 2,233. See if it's able to delete all of them in one shot. So I'm going to go into console. I'll clear out the screen. And then in here is where I'm literally just going to paste the code from ChatGPT and then press enter. So it didn't work, so we'll go back and troubleshoot that. Okay, so I'm gonna go back in here and I'm gonna come down here and then I'm gonna say, let's just say it says none of the transactions were selected. What do you need to know to understand how the selected rows are? Okay, so basically ask it, hey, you for some reason you couldn't figure this out. Do you need more information from me to be able to identify that? And essentially, while this is thinking, what I could do is I could do the same thing. I could do the element selector, select this little box here, okay, and then I can copy this, and this would be a selected box, and then I can select this one that's not selected, and then copy that code and tell it this is a non-selected box. Maybe it'll figure it out that way. So we'll see if it figures it out now. Otherwise, I'll give it that code. Okay, so let's see what it says. So it says to adjust the code, I need to know exactly what this is, what this looks like. Okay, so let's try this. So let's copy a selected box here. Hit copy. And I'm gonna say this one is selected. Paste that in there. And this one is not selected. Go back in here. Click on this box. And I'll copy that. Copy element. And paste that. See if that's enough information for it to figure it out. So let's see. Okay, here's some new code. Super fast, by the way. Let's copy this. Let's see if this works. Let's come back here. Just reset for a second, reset the room here. So I have everything selected but this one for 2,233. So let's see if this works. Go back to inspect. And then we go here to console. Clear this out, make it easier to read. Paste the code in there. And again, this is the actual code telling it how to act. And I press enter. Okay, so it got to the point where it's trying to go through it, but it's stuck in a pop-up window. So I need to add to the to this the fact that there's a pop-up window, and we have to automatically click on that delete button. So let's select this element here. Grab this whole thing, copy element, okay, and then we'll say, okay, there is a pop-up for delete confirmation that looks like this. You need to add a delay and click on that for me. Okay, so let's say if this new code this new instructions help. It's worth it to mention that there's many hours of trial and error, me fighting with this thing until I start realizing, add a delay, do this, do that. Like all those things are things that you kind of learn in the process. But okay, let's try this one more time. Let's hit copy, go back into QuickBooks, X out of that. Let's reset the room for a second here. Okay, we're back into this page. Okay, again, we selected everything but the transaction for 2,233. We'll right click somewhere, click on inspect. We'll go into console. We'll clear here to make it easier to kind of visualize. Paste the code. Cross my fingers now, press enter. Okay, see, it's pressing delete for me automatically. Now, it didn't go past the first one, and I can kind of suspect the reason for that. Is because after one gets deleted, this kind of selections go away, and that takes time to kind of see that. But that's kind of the challenge. That once it processes the first one, the selections get reset. So let's try this again, and now let's tell it that little factoid. So we'll come back here and say, and just tell it, it just did the first one. I think is because when one transaction is deleted, the check boxes get reset. So I suggest you remember the transactions that were selected when the script is first run, and then go back and do one by one until completed. Let's see if that new set of instructions works. One thing you'll notice is that at the end of the day, it talks about disclaimer, this course written by AI. You should click on the Calendly link and pay $1,500 for a consultation. That might be confusing. That's because I created the custom instructions in ChatGPT, because I use ChatGPT to help answer a lot of client and prospect emails. I always have it at the end, add that, hey, whatever we're doing was probably written by AI, and if you actually want to talk to me in person, you got to pay me, and here's the calendar link. So that's why that's in there. I know it seems a little bit confusing, but just for the fun of it, it's kind of my thinking every time it's just to remind me every time I respond to an email or write to anyone with any sort of solution that I either thought about or use ChatGPT to brainstorm about, I automatically always have a disclaimer at the end that goes, hey, by the way, if you want to do a Zoom call with me or whatever, you got to pay me, right? Side quest, really. But just wanted to clarify that in case that part was confusing. Okay, we have a new set of code here. So let's copy that. And then there's also instructions letting you know how it works. I really don't care how it works. It's just kind of giving you a summary of saying how it thinks it works. So let's see if this time it works. So let's reset the code here. We'll paste that and press enter. Okay, hands up. It deleted one. Okay, it didn't do another one. Let's see what could have happened. I'm going to give it one more set of code. I'm going to give it this box now to see if it can maybe figure it out. I'm going to do one more time and say, it just did the first one and stop. Look at the table after one was deleted. Maybe you can spot the issue pattern. Okay, I'm going to paste it that. So I'm feeding it more HTML code to see if maybe you see something that, I wouldn't know what it is. So I'm pasting that code in there to see if maybe it can figure out if something changes in that table after one transaction is deleted. So it's thinking within itself and it's negotiating within itself and what is it going to do. For example, it says here, I'm thinking about storing row element references instead of ID numbers to handle changes in data test IDs after deletion. So it's like with the new code, it's saying maybe I should change my approach and use different coding. So let's see. While it kind of thinks through that, I'm going to duplicate a couple of these transactions just so there's like more volume, makes it easier to kind of visualize more transactions in there. So I'm gonna duplicate a couple of these bills. Let's go to copy here. Creating a couple of bills here. So now we have a couple more. So now we have enough volume here. And let's say I want to delete everything again, except for this one for 2,233. Let's go back in here. Okay, still thinking. So it should be done fairly quickly. There we go. There's the new code. Let me copy that code, come back in here, right click, click on inspect, go back into console, clear this up, paste the code in there, press enter. Okay, there's one. Yeah, for some reason it keeps getting it only does one. So I wonder if we can, let's go back in here and say, can you add a debug mechanism for me? I can't get past the first one. Okay, and this is more of a programming concept. The debug mechanism actually is sort of a self-checking mechanism where it gives you the error log, and then based on the error log, I can go back and tell it what the error log is, and then it helps fix itself. And I know this is not sexy and this is not fun, but this is the type of stuff that that programmers have to go through. Again, I know it's not sexy, not fun, but it's something that you kind of get a good insight into, like how software gets built. And again, probably at some point you probably want to improve the software, and it's once you kind of get it working, I'll show you some shortcuts where you can run this fairly quick. So let's just make sure that we get the code working. So let's try one more time. Okay, so there's one being deleted. Okay, and then we'll have a debugging mechanism should give me an error log here. So here it says, right here, it says transaction row not found. Okay, so now I am actually going to copy this right here, and I'm going to show it. I'm going to copy this and paste it. I'm going to say error and paste it in there. So now I'm giving it the actual error. So now it's going to use this to try to figure out within itself, okay, what is going on? Why am I not being able to see this? And it's actually, again, it's going through and unspotting the logic. So so it's just thinking, and again, I don't know any code, so I don't know what is writing and what is not writing. So we'll just keep testing. Okay, here's some new code. Let's see if this works. Let's go ahead and copy that. We'll go back in here, reset. Actually, let's select all the transactions except for this time around. I won't delete the 453,001, and then we'll paste that. Press enter. Okay, there's the first one. Okay, and we have some errors here. Okay, I'm gonna copy this. It says this, but the transactions were not deleted. What's going on? Okay, let's see what it thinks. Let's duplicate a couple of these transactions here. Okay, we have all but one. Let's look at the new code. Let's copy this. Let's reset. Try again. Okay, look, it's doing it. It's doing it. There you go. That worked. Perfect. So she did all but one. Beautiful job. Good job. So now we got a script going. Let's check another vendor here. Let's see if we find another vendor with more bills. Let's see. Let's take a look at this one maybe. Okay, no bills in here. Let's see this one. Okay, we got some bills there, so I'll just pick both of them here. And then I'm gonna go back into console, run the script again. Let's copy this. We'll run the script again here, see if it does the same thing. My hands are up. One down, two down. Gotta love scripts, gotta love them. Okay, so we have successfully got a script working. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask this script, to rewrite the script as something called a bookmarklet. Okay, so I'm gonna say rewrite the script. I'm gonna say minimized, which means it makes it smaller. Minimize and as bookmarklet format. Now I'll explain what bookmarklet format is in a little bit, but let's just have it rewrite the script. While it does that, let me go back in here and create a bunch of bills. So let's go into bill, pick a vendor here, pick a category, click on save, and then I'll just keep duplicating these bills to make a whole bunch. Okay, so I'm just making bills, making bills. So we have a whole bunch to do. Again, if you don't have a whole bunch to do, then it feels like it doesn't make any sense. So I should have enough bills there so we can test it one more time. So let's go into bills. Let's pick the vendor, this guy here. No, vendors, and then I should have, I got a bunch of bills in there, right? A bunch. So I'm gonna delete everything except for the $50 one. So we'll select all, not select the $50 one. So it does everything but the $50 one. Go back in here. And now I should have a new script. Where is it? Okay, I have a new script here, which is called a bookmarklet. So I'm gonna hit copy. And the way a bookmarklet works, okay, is you have to go into bookmarks and click on bookmark this tab. Then in here, we're gonna name this delete selected bills. So I'm bookmarking the tab and then I'm calling it delete selected bills and then click on done. Then I have to go into the bookmarks manager. I have to find the bookmark and I have to edit it, go into edit, and then I'm going to replace the URL, again, the URL that it has with the code. Okay, this code is the bookmarklet. It always starts with JavaScript, and a bookmarklet basically is a bookmark that runs the script. Okay, so you don't have to go into console. Then I click on save, and there we go. I go back in here, so I no longer have to be in console and copy and pasting crazy stuff. That was just at the beginning, so I can test it. And then at this point, I can just run the bookmark from this page. So I go into bookmarks, and I click on delete selected bills, and then do nothing. I just let it do its thing. My hands are up, and it's deleting every single thing for you automatically. Look at that. Look at that. Automation, baby. Okay. So that's it. That's how we build things inside of WriteTool. This is how you can build through your Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge or any Chromium-based browser like Arc or Brave that has this little inspect tab and the console. So you can experiment with running scripts right there on your page, scripts, again, written by ChatGPT. And then once you're done, you do it as a bookmarklet and it will help you do magic. Now, while I was recording, funny enough, while I was recording this video, let me just turn on my write tool again. When I was recording this video, I actually got an update with write tool because I had just written this code, and it's been implemented into write tool. So it's pretty funny that all sort of happened automatically. So we actually added it as a button. So when you install write tool and you have the pro edition of write tool, you can do the same thing. Select a bunch of transactions here, click on bulk delete, and once you click OK, it does everything for you automatically. Basically, it runs the script for you automatically, the same way as you sort of build your own script. So you don't need write tool technically, almost, right? Because you can actually, if you have ChatGPT, you can build your own code and build all sorts of scripts to automate things in the screen. As long as you have visibility of the buttons and you want to automate the clicks and the button clicks, you can do that, with a script, right? Or you can obviously get a tool like write tool that can do that. But I wanted to give you a deep insight into ChatGPT code building, and this O3 code builder is amazing. At the end of the day, it does deliver results. So anyway, I know if you watch this whole video, man, I want to say thank you. I know it's super nerdy and it's like watching paint dry, watching someone like build code. But like, what I hope is that a whole slew of forward-looking accounting professionals start looking at the different accounting software that they use, whether it's QuickBooks or Xero or Soho Books or NetSuite or their Gmail, or they use all these applications and they know that there's so many inefficiencies with it, and there are things that you want to automate so you can, create a script. And then now think about it. This took me like 30 minutes to write. It took me many hours to learn prior to kind of understand the concept. But once you kind of get this done and you have a script library, especially if it works with bookmarklets, you can build all sorts of automations to help you do all sorts of crazy things. So I really, really want to know in the comments, was this video worth it? Was this long, nerdy, boring video worth it? What did you learn? What are you excited about? I want to hear it to see if you want to see more content like this. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.